The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. How y'all doing? How you doing?
Tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell.
I'm not gonna be here long, so
With the great escape,
come on in.
The Euphrates.
I wanna let you know.
The Lord held the water still.
Patreon update. Come on.
To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel.
That's who
we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the islands of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint, together our wives and children they sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled and fed. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A higher gatherer us in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexican.
Man, the Most High's gathering Israel. Man, it's so. Let me tell you, it's such a privilege, brothers and sisters, to have been born, all of us, in such a prophetic time. Okay, I know there's a lot of evil and wickedness going on, aimed towards destroying the children of God. They're looking to turn the whole earth into unbelievers. But brothers and sisters, let me tell you, we have a lot to be grateful for. We have so much to be grateful for. I'm telling you. See, when it comes to end day prophecy, when it comes to end day activity led by Satanists, Luciferians, unbelievers, the liberal movement, it was all of that together was prophesied in the book of Baruch, in 3rd Baruch. Okay? It was prophesied. And it's all to confuse those who aren't anchored with God. It can't confuse us. Okay? We understand who's pulling the strings. And guess what? I'm grateful to have eyes to see and not to get caught up in mainstream lies, liberal agendas. Okay? And I'm grateful that out of all gods, and there's many according to the Bible, okay, gods are real. Gods are celestial beings, okay? Angels are considered from this earth's perspective gods. So even though there's many gods, brothers and sisters, I thank the Most High that out of all gods, we belong to the God who created all gods. We are the children of Israel, and our God is Ahia, the God of the Hebrews. The same God who led our people out of Egypt, who destroyed the walls of Jericho, only to make Israel our home. And guess what? We will one day return. That's so much to be grateful for. So I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, don't get caught up into the smoke, the lies, the deception, the fear mongering that happens through media that forces you into what? Your own demise. Trust in the Most High and lean not on your own understanding. Trust in Him. He'll guide us through. Okay? So it's so much to be grateful for. For those who don't know, I'm Elder Rawchaa, the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm here, and if you want to understand what we believe and know beyond any shadow of a doubt that our people who were brought over here in cargo slave ships are in fact from the lost sheep of Israel. We're the bloodline of Israel, not according to religion. Just because someone is reading the Bible doesn't mean you're following a religion. Okay, the Bible is what? A prophetic book. The Bible is also a history book of a people. The rise, fall, and rise of a people again. And those people are really, I think that's Shabbat. Yeah, Shabbat is ready. And those people have been considered the low of the earth for generations. Our people, blacks, Hispanics, North American Indians, okay, and some of the 10 tribes went into Asia. When you look at Cambodia, parts of Vietnam, the samurais were part of the lost tribes of Israel. They were from Samaria. That's why they were called samurais and was stomped out by the Asian or Japhetic people in league with Esau. So the original samurai comes from Samaria. So we didn't only come over this side. I know where the lost tribes of Israel are throughout the four corners of the earth. We ran into Africa, and we've been serving all the other Gentiles, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, since our fall. 721 BC, those who had become the North American Indians and the Mexicans and the Colombians, they were a part of Samaria also, and they fell in 721 BC. And like the song states, through the belly of these great ships, we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon, we found our brothers here. Now, Ahia, gather us. You said we would find our brothers and sisters here. It has happened. The Bible has been fulfilled. And now it's time for what? A deliverance. That's what it's all about right now. So there's something to be grateful for, folks. Do not fall for the liberal agendas, okay? Hold on. Let me bring Shabbat in real quick before we parlay over, because today we're going to strictly deal with a bunch of phone calls, okay? We're going to deal with a lot of phone calls today, brothers and sisters, all right? And that's going to be on Patreon. Patreon call-in. Patreon call-in for our discussion today. We're going directly into the, hold on. We're going directly into the phone calls. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can bring Shapad in. Yep. Let's see. So, brothers and sisters, there's so much to be grateful for. And again, for you Gentiles and others who might think this is strange, what I've just pronounced concerning who we are, it doesn't mean that we're racist against other races of people. That's another trope that's out there. That if you're an Israelite, that means you hate white people, okay? They do that to actually lean towards convincing the unlearned, the lazy thinkers, okay? That's utterly ridiculous. To think that just because one is an Israelite, that means they are racist. No, Israel is not a group like the Nazis or the KKK. Israel in the Bible were people, a nation of people. So stating that we're Israelites is not the church we belong to. It isn't the persuasion we joined because we felt included or had some level of reverence in this particular type of religion, or some level of respect that we couldn't get in other religions. This is not from a political view to why we're Israelites. We're Israelites because we're from the physical bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Read your Bible. Even Christ said that we would go into captivity when you read the book of Luke. He prophesied that the Romans would come against us, and it happened in 70 AD, and our people, the blacks of Judea, would lose Judea. Christ was a black man. That's not a racist statement. That's fact. Okay? So just because we say we're Israelites doesn't mean we belong to some type of hate group. Stop falling for the low-level, low-intellect explanations to who we are. You would like to understand who we are? Ask us. Because one who is truly in Christ, who know they are Israelite, know that hatred is no part of Christ's ideology or belief system. Christ was an Israelite. So it doesn't mean because someone is an Israelite, they hate white people. That's ridiculous. And guess what? That's low level ideology. If someone builds a religion based on hating other people, that's utterly, that's childish. That's immature. Paul said, when I was a child, I thought like a child, but when I came of age, I put down foolish or childish thoughts. Okay? You can't run around with an axe to grind against other people when it's our fault as a people. It's our fault. Oh, that's right. Listen to me clearly. I'm not absolving other white people and all that. But listen to this, folks. It's our fault if we continue to go against God, to sin against God, to kill each other, to sin against our Father, to sin against our law. We can't blame that on a white man. If we come back to the law and get on code with each other, no race could take advantage of us. No race. So it's really low-level ideology to say that I'm going to join a religion to hate other people. No. According to Christ, all nations will bow and confess that he's Lord. All nations. There'll be a place for all nations under Christ's kingdom. And we were sent in this earth and born in the last days to teach all nations. Okay? To teach all nations the error of their ways, including Israelites. That's the true Israelite doctrine. What Israelite? Christ. Christ is the Israelite we all should follow. All right? So yes, we as the Gathering of Christ Church hates no one. We accept all people if they're willing to receive the knowledge, the true gospel of Christ that was in the earth before the Roman Empire conquered Jerusalem. That's the doctrine you will learn here. Okay? Even the epistle says, as much lieth within you, be at peace with all men. And even what? love thine enemies. Now, I'm not going to let my enemy in a vicinity to destroy me, but I can love them nonetheless. Okay, but so that's where repentance come in at. If you're willing to repent and confess your faults and apologize and make penance, hey, that's all good. Okay, we can love our enemies. So and what the Gathering of Christ Church is teaching, you will never see them highlight our church, okay, on a national level, because it doesn't fit the trope or the negative ideology that the mainstream is seeking to demonize Israelites for. See? Hold on. Let me pull in Shapat real quick before I go over into to Patreon. Let's bring him in. So we accept all people. Let's make that clear too. Hold on. You gather us. Whoa. Hold on, Shapat. Let me bring you in. Highest gathering Israel. Hold on, Shapat. Let me fix this and I'll bring you in, okay? Whoa. Our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint to gather our wives and children, then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. And by the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. You gather us. Whoa. Let me bring Shapat in one moment. Our highest gathering Israel. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that's him there. Yeah. This thing been giving me issues lately. You all know why. All right, Shapat, I think we're good now. Hold on. Stick with me, folks, because I'm going to show you what we'll be talking about on Patreon. Hold tight. Let me bring Shapat in. Check 1, 2. There goes Shapat there. All right, good. We good. All right, we good. The Arabs and Africans told us to gather our wives and children, then sold us. How you doing, Shapat?
Doing pretty good.
All right. You got a little tan. I see you. I see you. Hold on. Let me bring you in. One moment. Check 1, 2. Okay, my audio's working. Say something, Shapat.
All right, testing 1, 2. Okay,
you're good. You're good. All right.
Good. Okay.
All right. Let me bring you in, Shapat, here. All right. Elder Lawya, if you want to come in, you can just text me and I'll bring you in also, okay? There he go. There he is. All right. There he is. My brother Shapat. Sometimes I tease Shapat and call him Red, Brother Malcolm. Brother Malcolm. if you take one step towards a higher will take 2 steps towards you. Brother Shabbat. Big old red. Look, you know they call Malcolm X red. You even, let me tell you, Shabbat, if you put on those rim glasses and get one of those fake guns next to a window, man, do you look like Malcolm X. Shabbat, yes. Thank you for coming on in such a short notice, right? We're coming into Academy Week, and I just wanted to share a few things with the brothers and sisters as we go over into Patreon, right? Elder Shabbat is in the house. Let me give him another round of applause. Man, doesn't it seem like it's been like a year since we did the last Academy?
Yeah, too long. Yep.
Yeah. Man, let me tell you, I thank the Most High for the work, the Academy. We're going into a new season, a new moon or new month, which goes into transferring or transitioning from summer to fall. That's coming up. And it's not a new moon. When you look at moon, that word is month, showing an intercalary changing of season. It has nothing to do in particular with the moon and the sky. And for those who would like to ask questions on that or are fairly new, over on Patreon, we will have a call-in session. And Shabbat, you're going to share in that with me if they have any questions concerning anything. And of course, they may ask you about some of the news that we'll be dealing with this Sunday. Of course, they'll have to deal with that on Sunday. You can't prepare the news for the Academy and let the cat out of the bag. But if there's anything that you can share when answering questions, this will be the opportunity. Academy Week call-in. So we're going to go into some uncensored information, right? Information that we can't speak freely here without some level of internet reprimand, right? So let me show the brothers and sisters what we'll be going into. For those who don't know about the Hebrew and Bible Academy, just giving you an overview. It starts this coming Sunday. Okay, we're in Academy Week, all right? It starts August 28th. You go to historytimes.org to enroll. What's in store? Number 1, Elder Lawya comes in and give you Hebrew 101, starting with learning the Hebrew letters. Now, keep in mind, brothers and sisters, Hebrew was the original language, and God said that he would give us back a pure language. Well, the language you hear today spoken by the Jewish factions, they'll even tell you that's modern Hebrew, where there's U sounds. You hear somebody say Yahuwah or Yeshua. Well, those sounds, that U sound wasn't phonetically in the original sound of the ancient. All right. It's a modern form. Okay. So what Elder Lawya does, he teaches both the ancient script, the first script that was found over here in America too. Why? When the conquerors came here, they called themselves explorers. When the conquerors came to America, they found ancient Phoenician Hebrew in Ohio, Puerto Rico, and all these other areas that link directly back to the land of Samaria. Well, Elder Lawya teaches that ancient Phoenician. And even, guess what? Even the North American Indians knew the Most High's name because they came out of Egypt with us as the tribe of Gad. When they go, Aya, Haya, Aya, Haya, Aya, Haya, that's the Most High's name. Okay. Of course, they went off into some level of paganism, but that's the Most High's name, and they knew it. They knew it, folks. So Lawya goes into that ancient Hebrew, the old sound, to prove through secular history and all that, secular books, to prove that even the Gentiles know that Hebrew was the original language before the tongues were split at the Tower of Babel. Elder Lawya breaks it down very eloquently and make it easy to understand. Some people might think, well, I'm too old to ever understand Hebrew. Don't worry about it. The way Elder Lawya teaches it, it doesn't matter your age. You'll begin to look at those words and understand them. And even when you open up your Bible, you'll see those English words. And then you'll be able to look at those English words and even translate those words into Hebrew. Yeah, folks, don't forget, it was our people, the Hebrews, the tribe of Judah, who created the English language. It was us, to get away from the Roman Latin. Okay? England is angels' land. Okay? England is angels' land. English is, that's right, angels' tongue. We created the English language to get away from, that's right, the satanic Latin language. We were the black nobility who broke away from the Roman Empire. We were in Ireland, we were in Scotland, and we were in England. See, the English called the land Britannic, Britain, Britannia. That was there, but when we took over, we renamed the land England. That history and more in the academy. Yeah, we have history. So you got Elder Lawya breaking down the Hebrew one-on-one. Then Shabbat comes in with the news like none other, and break it down with a biblical perspective. Of course, I do my commentary, and Shabbat, I make sure that you tell me nothing concerning the news, right?
Correct. Yep.
Nothing concerning the news. And last but not least, you go into your email, you click on your link, and you're in the class with all of us with that specific lesson. It come to you well in advance. You get your lesson and join us in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Now, this is what I want to talk about today, Shabbat, before I segue over, okay? Okay, Academy Week call in Uncensored, and this is what brothers and sisters on Patreon can look forward to. Let me pull it up. This is what they can look forward to. Boom.
Mm. Mm-hmm. My sound seems a little echoed too.
Everyone's quick. I got it. I know. Okay. I got it, Dale. I got it. Everyone. Sorry about that. So Shabbat, say something.
Testing 1, 2, mic check.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Thank you all. I'm glad I have the chat up. They couldn't hear me. Here it is, Shapat. I'm going to go into the fact that it says President Biden announces student relief for borrowers who need it most. Well, that makes absolutely no sense when there's no jobs for our people to go into. And when they state who need it most, or disproportionately marginalized, or, they're usually talking about the people they're replacing, or are at politically, or politically are they're politically at war with these particular people. When they say who need it most, well, these are the people we're stomping out because they're not explaining to the people or to the masses how we got here. How do we get disproportionately marginalized? Why do we need it most? Okay, what have you always did against our people to keep us at the bottom, or to make it so we would systematically through each generation become more and more needy? So let's not talk about what you're going to do for the needy. Let's talk about how you've created a society, a serious society that feed on the poor. So don't come to me with this announces student loan, because first of all of us don't go to college. That's number one. So don't think that that's a selling point to black people. This isn't reparations. You need to give our people, right? Why don't they give our people what they gave the Asians or the LGBTQ or any other group?
You took the words right out of my mouth. How do we go from reparations discussions during the election 3-4 years ago to $10,000 student loan forgiveness? And mind you, that so-called $10,000 is going to be eaten up in interest payments anyway.
Yeah. So who cares? And here it is. We all don't go to college, so we don't care about this. This is nothing for our people. We could care less. All right. I was mentioning, Shapat, there's a bank that we used to go to. And it's a shame because this is Bank of America. Look how weird this is. Bank of America, Shapat. I go into the branch. You and I walked into this branch many times. There was an older white woman who'd been there probably since it opened up. Okay, I'm not saying anything about her age, but she's a nice old lady and she's been there. She probably, cut the ribbon on this place. A white woman. She's a very nice elderly white woman. She always high and cordial and smile and, and there was a sister working there from the islands. I think she was from Haiti. And she continually, when we see this sister, she was always high and she would extend herself, come behind the barrier and try to shake hands and say hi. And one day, when the COVID thing first happened, Shapat, I walked into this particular branch and couldn't help but notice that they were packing away a lot of paperwork, right? It's like they were doing a wholesale cleaning of past, like they were packing up going someplace else. And I couldn't help but notice that. And I'm like, what y'all doing? Y'all moving? She's like, nah, every few years we begin to just recalibrate and change things and all that. But it looked weird to me. Shapat, I walked into the branch today. The sister's gone and the white woman's gone. This is Bank of America. Every position in the bank outside of the Merrill Lynch guy, okay, where they outsourced investments with the Bank of America. Listen, Shapat, every employee of any ilk within that branch was East Indian. Not only East Indian, all East Indian women running the whole branch. No white people, no black. That black sister no longer is there. Now, if anybody should have been in position to run the place, it should have been that sister. She was always at that branch. I don't know where they moved her. I hope she still has a job. They probably moved her remote at home because they do that because what? Sometimes they do that to put you away before you are non-existent. So that makes you feel like, yeah, I'll get to work home and do extra things. But no, that's a way to get you out of here so that now they can change the face of who we're used to communicating with. Right? Shapat, outright. The whole thing ran by East Indians, but here's the weird part of it. I'm Judah, I'm a black man in there, and there was an older white couple in there, right? And guess what? Looked like someone, like a ship from India backed up into that particular branch. Everyone in that branch who came in for service were East Indians. So here it is. They talking about student loan debt. The positions will be given to other people, folks. So what good is it? And that leads us to what I'm going to talk about here. It's a guy by the name of Jared Boyd, who say he didn't finish college. I was 18 hours shy when I left college. Dumb? Yes. Student loans? Yes. Some loans I didn't even know existed. Are my loans paid off? Yes. And they were 6 years after I left. And he goes into the whole scam. The whole scam to why you can actually file bankruptcy to forgive or to get over any loan, but except a college loan. The scam of it. And this guy's going to make us believe that he's doing black people a favor by doing student loan relief. We're going to talk about that in this Patreon, Shapat. Right? I'm going to go into that. Right? I'm going to go into that. As soon as we go to Patreon, I'm going to go into that and show you this. All right? Let me tell you, folks, it's a scam. Folks, we are getting replaced. When Bank of America is ran by all East Indians, listen, no pun intended, no disrespect. I thought I walked into a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, man, this is a come up. Okay, they won't allow us to open up a lemonade stand without sending license and inspections on us. We set up a vending in our own community, and guess what? If it's anything close to what the Chinese people are selling in our communities, they'll send out license and inspections with a billy club to knock us off that corner. We can't even sell oranges in our community. Okay? But yet they can get all of these deals to have all these businesses like Dunkin' Donuts, and now they can leapfrog us and become branch owners and branch runners of banks titled Bank of America. Elder Shapat, check out the irony in that Bank of America is now being represented worldwide, especially in the United States now, little by little, by East Indians. And I'm not taking nothing away from East Indians. They're hard workers. They did whatever they could to get that position. I'm talking about the optics of it.
Right.
The optics of it for a guy that claimed he was going to do something for our people. And I'm going to talk about that and more on Patreon. I'm going to open up the lines. Last but not least, Shapat, we're going to have a contest in the academy. Right? Because, Shapat, I thought about this contest we'll have in the academy, right? Why? Because it's 3 months and midterm elections will be going on while we're within the academy. 3 months, right? We got September, October, November, 3 months. So we're going to run a contest. Shapat, you're going to love this contest. You're going to love this contest, Shapat. Check out this contest. what political event mainstream will use to trigger black people to vote, to go out into the polls, right? What racial or what media trigger will they use to force our people to choose to vote blue? Now check out the choices. Now, whoever win this, Shapat, we're going to give them a Josephus, a Zondervan Bible Dictionary, and a Bible signed by myself and Elder Lawya, right? We're going to personalize package, a history package that will give the person who can guess it. Number one trigger, if they guess it, a shooting by a white police of a black man. That'll be number one. You know, that's going to be, everyone might vote. We're going to put the poll up for all of our academy attendees. A black guy shot by a white police. Number one. A white nationalist who been operating online end up going into a public place harassing or shooting black people. Number two. Two shooting things, right? Or number three. An event comes out where Trump says something racist or crazy against black people. So these going to be the three choices. Whoever choose between one of those three and one of those three events happen will win our history package. We'll send out a history package for them. It has to be one of the three now. A black man is shot by a cop. Something happened where a white nationalist who was a Trump supporter or a white racist or KKK connections went and did something to black people in a public space, be it a church or out of the mall or whatever, or Trump says something that triggers black people, and now everyone say, well, we have to deal with the lesser of two evils, and we have to go against that because Trump is involved. Right? What do you think about the contest, Shapat?
It sounds interesting.
You know what? I wish I had an opportunity with Shapat because I would have polled it here. I would have polled it and see what the brothers and sisters think. But let's see which one of the three they'll use. Now, I know they want to use the Brittany Griner thing so that they can champion something for black people and LGBTQ, that the president stood against all odds, against the bear, against Russia. He stared Putin down and said, let my lesbian go. Let's see if they're going to use that as a selling point. All right. Biden just stood in and said, listen, I'm tired of this. Let my people go. You know what I mean? So I don't know which it'll be, but Shapat. So before I segue over it, because, anything you have to say as far as the academy goes or anything before I go over to Patreon?
Obviously with the news, there's still a few days left, so there's a lot that can happen in these few days. There is a back catalog, as you can imagine, with the break in between of news just falling off the table, so to speak. So, but of course, it would be unfair to those that do join the academy to let the cat out the bag, so to speak. So the only thing that I think is kind of fair is to go over some of the news from the prior academy to show brothers and sisters what they receive news-wise.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to do that here or do that on Patreon.
Well, just in a nutshell, if you can give a quick synopsis, then we'll just go right over to Patreon because I know they're mad I'm not there yet. But I just can't outright not say something to our loyal a gathering 144 followers. I mean, this is how we got here, right? I mean, they subscribed, they got us over 100,000, even though we're shadow banned. I feel guilty just going over to Patreon and not letting them know what we're going to talk about. But go on.
Right. So let's there's so much to choose from. But just as an example, now, granted, this does not happen every week, but by and large, at least a few times each academy, what I'm about to go into happens. So the hot thing right now that they're trying to make something is monkeypox, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to week 1 of the prior academy, which was May 22nd.
Hold up. We got to be careful that, because when we put out certain things on this particular thing and we talk about that, we have to make sure we do it within the guidelines which changes by the second.
Right.
So make sure if you're going to talk about it, you have to speak in code some way in which we can speak and still have a YouTube page.
Got it. I'm so used to having a bit more freedom with the academy setup. But yes, hence another reason for the academy. But yes, okay. So let me tailor this type of news that you receive in the academy.
Okay, great.
Now, mind you, this was week 1 of the prior academy, which was Sunday, 22nd of May. Think how long ago that was, May, okay? Not June, July, August, where they've been pushing this so-called narrative of the brand new boogeyman disease, okay? Which is really just...
We can call it gorilla bumps.
Right.
Gorilla bumps. There, you all know what it is. But, just so we can forego the algorithm, gorilla bumps. But go on.
Right. So gorilla bumps is the new thing right now since sliced bread. That's the thing. But here is the thing. This is the type of one example of the news you get in the academy. All right. Just like the other boogeyman disease, okay, with the thing that's on a beer bottle brand name for the algorithm, beer bottle Corona.
Yeah.
Anyway, just like that, and they had their war games a few months prior to the rollout of the whole world. They did the exact same thing, brothers and sisters, with the gorilla bumps. Okay, and we brought that out in the news, okay, week 1, 22nd of May, 2022. All right, let me bring up the relevant news article here. Where is it here? These guys think they're slick. It's from cnnbc.com, and you also have it on their publication page where they did the war game, and it's titled World Health Organization, or the WHO, confirms 80 cases of gorilla pox or gorilla bumps with outbreaks in 11 countries. But the whole deal was it was a copycat from a war game they did. Now, let me get the name of the war game. You think this is all, just coincidence? Its title, and this was from, the war game was done in November 2021. Yeah. Nobody was talking about gorilla bumps in November 2021.
Man, let me tell you, Shabbat. So, man, these people have me cracking up right now. Someone called it baboon bumps. I tell you, the people that follow this, I tell you, at least, and that's another thing that's good when you can serve the Most High, and we got that truth, but it's good to know that there's still a sense of humor. Right. There is a natural element that comes with why it's, why I love this church. But go on, I'm listening to you.
Right. I got, the BBs, baboon bumps. But anyway, November 2021 is when they did the war games for this gorilla bumps. Okay. Long before they were ever pushing the narrative out there in the media. And these are the types of things that we go into. We also debunk from time to time. They're so-called fact checkers. They're not fact checkers at all.
You know, I'll tell you what. We got to save that for over there, Shapot, because you don't understand. Every 5 minutes, the rules change here. But since we're talking about baboon bumps, I like that a little better. Let's talk about the evolution, because I'm going to be going into this in the Hebrew Bible Academy too. How whack and ridiculous it is that they can teach evolution, but right. It's simple, it's stupid. Even what they call the missing link. Don't you know the historians came out and said that was a bold-faced lie? There was no missing link. Said they found the missing link between apes and man. Come to find out, they took a skull of an ape, right? A skull of an ape with the chin of a man and put it together and called it archaeology. Sprinkled a little dirt on it and said, we found the missing link between apes and men. Then came out don't forget, they used this scientifically in the universities to prove evolution. And then they came out about 10 years ago without any fanfare and say, yeah, by the way, we found that was a hoax. That was a lie. It was some guys who put that together. Nothing to see here. Right? So you already know that it's called the missing link. It was a lie they created so that they can make us believe. And folks, the reason why they were teaching evolution, Shapot, so that the white people with a conscience could not have a conscience towards us.
Right.
It would make them believe that our people were predisposed to being servants because our brain could not grow beyond that, because black people were still at the lower stage of evolution. So they trick people into believing that black people just didn't turn into white people yet. Now, speaking of bamboo bumps, this is the silliness they were teaching in their schools. Start off as an ape. Oh yeah, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and right before they get to a Neanderthal, this is us right here. They was teaching right here. Let me get you. This was us right here. You know what I mean? There it is. Homo erectus, straight off the slave ships. Okay, straight off the slave ships, standing upright. It's just enough to bale some cotton, right? And there it is, the nice strong monkeys. And so when you don't forget, they were calling us monkeys back then. So you have to understand when they speak in code, when they talk about bamboo bumps, that's code for what people they're targeting, right?
Right.
And then after that, look at I got fire now. I found fire, right? And next thing you know, we getting it up here. Okay, there it is. You got John Travolta, and then you got Tom Cruise at the very end. This is when it's all finished. When it's all finished, it's the white man. It's the white man at the end of evolution. But they got to worry about this guy here. This guy here. You got right here. You got the guy who can bale cotton, and this guy's a little tall right here because that's Kevin Durant. He could probably dunk a basketball. And then we get John Travolta and Tom Cruise at the very end of it. Evolution at its best. Education at its best. Okay? Education at its best. They once taught this, folks, in our universities to show you how stupid they make people in school. Okay? That's right. These universities are nothing different than indoctrination camps. Okay? That's all they are. And they radicalize the intelligent people in our society. They weaponize and radicalize them and then throw them back into the pool to come against us. All right? And we're tired of it. All right, Shapot. All right. So,
speaking of, real quick, because you mentioned evolution, and it's timely because week 1 traditionally is creation week in the academy. So from time to time with the news, if it's there in the news, I try to report on evolution watch news, stuff that comes out from time to time, how, like Elder just mentioned, there's so-called science and all that, and they'll put little tidbits out there, try and brush it under the carpet that, the missing link, There is no missing link. It doesn't exist. All these things, right? But to that point, real quick, because some brothers and sisters may not know this book, real quick. Let me bring it up.
Oh yeah, Shapat, in between, because I remember the last time when we were in the academy, you did something to switch your microphone that made it right. I don't know what you did back there. Remember, I don't know, you switched it from one thing where it was echoey and you switched something and you fixed it. So you probably want to make sure you do that before we segue into Patreon.
Well, let me double check right quick. Let me just do that. Input. Yep, I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. It's just a little echoey, but don't worry about it. We'll fix it before Sunday. Don't worry about it.
Back to this evolution guy.
Okay.
Okay. The theory of evolution. Right on what Elder was saying. Okay. But right on. Everybody knows the name Charles Darwin. And everybody knows the title of his book. Or so they think they know the title of his book. They know the main title of his book. Brothers and sisters, books tend to have more than one title. If you read the cover, right? The well-known name of his book is The Origin of Species, okay? Otherwise known and taught in school as the theory of evolution. The other name of the book, and it says it right there in black and white, this is not a conspiracy theory, Google it, okay, to prove what Elder was saying about how they essentially were saying we were inferior. It says, the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. If you favor and preserve one race, that means the opposite is true, where you will not favor and you will not preserve other races in the struggle for life. It's right there in black and white.
Yeah. The whole theory of evolution was not just anti-God. It's a racist ideology in of itself. The whole point of creating that whole theory of evolution was to state claim that scientifically white people are better than black people. And what they try to say is, as far as the intelligence goes, they are smarter. They are greater. Okay. Black people could not survive unless white people civilized them. So they had to come up with some science to justify that nonsense.
Speaking of that, I was having a very brief conversation through chat with Elder Rawchaa about this, this push with the, the baboon bumps. And, it's, what I'm going to have to, let me bring it up. Basically, when they say the survival of the fittest, this is it. The phrase out there is the survival of the fittest. That comes from books like the Charles Darwin, where the fluffy, sound nice title is The Evolution of Theory, okay, or Origin of Species. But on the same page, it's not buried in text. It's on the same page in smaller print. Nobody reads anymore. It's in smaller print. It says it right there. The favored survival of one race over another. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what it says. Now, this book is the underpinnings for the phrase survival of the fittest. In this world, being fit just means reading. They tell you in all their baboon bumps material that, hey, this is what can happen to you if you take this. Are you smart enough to know not to take it?
Yeah. So we talk about that in the academy. So the survival of the fittest in of itself is saying,
just read.
Listen, I just read. And our existence, our propensity to survive hinges on you not surviving.
Yep.
What's the greatest way to get rid of an existential threat? is to make sure it doesn't exist going forward. So the whole thing is the survival of the fittest is people who are fit to think, like you mentioned. So here it is. If I tell you that to do something and you don't look at the consequences of it, it isn't his fault. You couldn't survive the next stage in this evolutionary cycle. You couldn't get to the next stage of evolution because you didn't think of what was best for you, which is self-preservation. And anyone who would listen to their enemies outside of studying the side effects in others for their own self-preservation isn't fit for the next stage of evolution. It's quite that simple. like if the enemy is standing on one side of the mountain with a big valley in between, and you're on the other side of the mountain, and the enemy who sees you as a threat says, listen, trust me, jump. I will make sure I grab you with my arms. But yet the chasm in between two mountains is 1 mile. If you jump, believing that he's going to use his little hands to grab you, that's right, that you trusted him over self-preservation. You didn't think.
Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm.
Exactly. So, folks, it's these type of discussions, but we do this from a biblical perspective and others in the academy. So, hope to see you there.
And we don't have to use code as well.
and like I said, the call in with Patreon is uncensored, right? So now we can go into uncensored conversation. Excuse me. Uncensored conversation over there, leaning in towards the Hebrew and Bible Academy, where it's totally uncensored. Thank the Most High. All right. So with that, I would like to say thank you all for being present. We're going on Patreon for 1 hour, starting off with the phone calls. And I'm going to read these tweets that's out there by this guy who tell everyone the straight hoax that we call college that really got people stuck into debt. And mind you, Shapat, hence the reason why even the money changers during crisis time wanted Christ dead. Because Christ was talking about what? Asking the Most High to forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. It wasn't just talking about forgiving people for what they're doing to us, folks. There was a Jubilee year. Every 7 years, we had to forgive the debt of those who owed something to us. You can't keep people in debt past 7 years according to God's law. And Christ knew this, and he was calling out the money changers who wanted to continually tax our people. You can't just have a debt on someone for the rest of their life, who made a choice at one of the more impressionable times of their life in which they couldn't make sound decisions so young. Because at that age, when you're going to college, listen, you don't really know what you want to become. You're trying things out. And by the time you're 40 years old, you're not doing anything that had anything to do with what you thought 20 years prior. It's a scam. So this is why they wanted Christ dead, because Christ was holding the Pharisees and Sadducees' feet to the fire. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and God what is God's. You know, if you are a Pharisee and follow the law, you cannot put people in debt past 7 years. You can't follow Caesar to make our people perpetual slaves. You must forgive debt every 7 years under a Jubilee according to God. It's a Sabbath of forgiveness every 7 years. And Christ, guess what? Christ was making sure everyone understood that the way they would put people in perpetual slavery would be to have them what? Owe a debt they cannot pay throughout their lifetime, folks. And that's exactly what college debt has become. Hey, Shapat, listen. Hey, why do you think they want Christ dead? It was about him pointing out the money. and how they were. Let me tell you, he was pointing out, hold up. This is how he was pointing it out. Hold up. It wasn't them selling in the temple like people try to claim. It was them selling the sacrifices. The sacrifices to forgive sins. You had the Pharisees and scribes saying, okay, you sin this way, well, you're going to need some turtle doves. Well, these turtle doves, they going up in price now, and you can get them. There's only a few left. So, supply and demand, you have to pay a lot to get you. So in order for your sin to be forgiven, you got to pay me for your sins to be forgiven in the temple. That's why because Christ came to forgive sins. Okay? You can't absolve sins and put a price on absolving sins. That's what that was about. It was about coming after the money changers. But the money changers, they came up with a scheme to create banks, to put the world in debt. Folks, Christ's knowledge would have destroyed the foundation of this economy. It would have made all people on equal playing field, because why? A person couldn't debt a person into debt slavery, and they would have an equal chance in society. But Shaphat, I digress. Let's go over to Patreon tomorrow. Elder Lawya. I'm sorry, Shaphat. I'm used to Elder Lawya. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Tomorrow we'll be talking. I got a great lesson tomorrow, Shaphat. The spirit of Cain. The spirit of Cain. Old and New Testament. One day before the Hebrew Bible Academy, the creation of the universe, I'm going into the spirit of Cain, the first murderer on earth. The first murderer of his own brother. The spirit of Cain. Wait till y'all hear this Sabbath lesson tomorrow. Okay, all right. So I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow and more. Hope to see you on Patreon. If you wish to go into the academy, go to historytimes.org. Week 1, Shaphat, is coming. Are you ready, Shaphat? I know you are. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So hold tight. Go to historytimes.org if you want to enroll in the academy. The administration is operating now with that. I hope you've enjoyed our little conversation, but it's really on another level in the academy. And we're going to take this over to Patreon now, brothers and sisters. Stay strong. We'll see you over in Patreon. Patreon.com/AGathering144. Shalom. Ahayah's calling back Israel.
Ahayah's gathering Israel.